This is a production of Off the Hook Sports with Dave Hooker.
Click on it right there. It's right below you. You can save 15% just by clicking on that link so that your dog will have less anxiety, so that your dog will be less uncomfortable. As I know that with my dog in particular, some arthritis is definitely starting to set in. So this can help you. That's CraftTreats. Again, just click on the link that's on this post and you'll get 15% off. And they got Barley Bones, a great holistic limited ingredient dog treat available in unique flavors like pizza party, breakfast biscuit, traditional flavors like bacon and peanut butter. They are awesome. Okay, so we have discussed here on Chalk Talk how I thought Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher maybe looked a little bit babyish. But let's talk about how this really affects Tennessee. I'm going to start with this, and Chris is always good to tell me if I'm reaching, but you tell me if I'm reaching. So if I have Nick Saban that is complaining about the amount of money that was coming in, if I'm a fan of any other school, that's a good thing, right? I mean, I may actually have a slight advantage in one area. Right? Wrong?
Well, if that is what he's doing and that is his mission, which I think his mission of complaining about it, I think, it's kind of like when he complained about the on the field stuff.
Right.
And he said, this is not good for college football. But if that's the way it's going to be, look what he's doing, and he adapts. I think his mission was to state that we need to get a handle on college football and better organized. And he's right, in my opinion. But I don't think it means that they're going to be a non-player in this NIL and paying money. He says he is, but I think what they're going to do in the other part of his making his statement was a message to his booster faction that we're going to need to raise more money in collective. So this is what they're doing. And I think that's what he was saying. I mean, he shouldn't have named it Texas A&M, but he's mentioning that, hey, look, this is what they're doing. Translation, you guys better get on board because, we're number 2 and they number 1. They got a lot more. They paid every player. Basically he's saying, you like all these titles? You like competing? Because he said it's going to be tougher and tougher to keep that up. Message is put more money, make the money as good here as it is there. And that was his message. So I don't think it's going to have – I think Alabama is going to be able to match that and deal with it. And as you've mentioned on other shows, if you can put the money on a pretty equal basis to where players are not selecting just for money, but if they can get equal money one place or the other, they're still going to want to mostly go to Alabama as long as Nick Saban's there. Why? Because they're going to be competing for championships.
Yep.
And you're going to be competing for a spotlight. And, oh, by the way, if you're an elite player, you can not only get a certain amount of money, but you can get as much money as you want on your own. And what better place to do that than you're a Heisman candidate, you're going to compete for national titles, you're going to be in the playoffs every year, you're going to win the conference, be in the conference race every year. All of those things equal that. So I don't think it's a sign for everyone else in the conference to start jumping. I'll tell you when to get excited. And that's when Nick says, I'm going to the lake for good. And then you can start jumping out there because once Nick Saban's gone, you're not as good. But for Tennessee, I think what it does is you can use it as best you can to say, you're happy. If you're Georgia, if you're Tennessee, you hope that Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher are beating each other up. And Tennessee has been willing and able to put together a pretty nice collective, a pretty good NIL deal. And that's good because you gotta keep up with the Joneses. But I think the key is going to be how Josh and the staff is able to handle still making sure that your locker room stays committed, stays working together. That what happens, Dave, if you pay the quarterback, and I know the rumors, and I don't know that my understanding, I don't think it's $8 million. Let's just say it's a lot of money. What happens now if that guy is not the best quarterback on your team in 2 or 3 years? Well, guess what? He's not going to be making that. I don't know what his NIL deal is. He's not going to be happy if he's not going to make. He's going to leave. So I mean, my point is some of that stuff is going to work its way out, but you still have to have a real good handle on how you're going to deal with it internally, so that the best players are still getting on the field. They're still playing with a lot of discipline. I tell you what I'm hearing from a lot of coaches is the same thing that I hear from NFL coaches and I deal with every day, Dave, is what happens when the defensive lineman who's got an NIL deal making $2 million a year because he's an elite player, and he's being coached by a guy making $400,000 a year, a position coach.
Yeah.
That's not something that you've ever had to deal with in college football before. You deal with it in the NFL, but you still, and you still have issues. Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, had some issues last year in the NFL. You work it out. You can work it out. It's not the end, but boy, is it a different ball game. And the days of when I grew up, those kids played for Big Orange and UT. It's changed, folks. You don't have to like it, and if you don't accept it, I mean, go hunting or something, because it is not changing. Because once the money's there, once the genie's out of the bottle, you're not putting her back in, and it's going to be how you're able to handle it. Dave, it is another form of professional athletics. Anytime you institute money into it, there's a lot of money being made. Everybody wants their piece, and because the NCAA didn't put certain structures in place, the players, and here's the key, lawyers that are representing them have sued and have now put it where the players have the full. I laugh when they have the full advantage. I laugh when people say that what they need to put this. You can't put any of those rules in. You got all the advantage, all the leverage if you're the players now. And either with no rules, the lawyer will take it to court. That's how it started. The Ed O'Bannon situation on the players had the advantage. What they need to do is organize it so there's certain times where they can transfer. There's certain ways that you go about it. If you at least have rules, then everybody knows the rules and can play by the rules, and you have to have the ability to enforce the rules. That's going to be the key. But it's changed. It's changed forever.
No question about it. What's changed forever is the way we make our pets more comfortable. We used to just go to a veterinarian and say, what do you recommend? Now we know that we can go with CBD treats that help anxiety, that also help anti-inflammatory issues with older dogs. So if they're having trouble getting up and down out of that couch or that bed, then all you have to do is click on this link that is right there, right below me. Click on this link and you'll get 15% off. That is pretty strong. Again, that is our friends at CraftTreats. He is fantastic. Call Ben, and they've got farm to treat as well. A great choice for dogs who eat raw. Chicken, lamb, and sweet potato flavors are available. So we will see you next week on ChalkTalk.